It's said that if a boxer attacks someone with their fists, it can be legally classified as assault with a lethal weapon. I don't know if that's true, but in the spirit of a video about MAGA conservatives, I didn't bother to look it up. By the same token, the correct legal term for a Republican with COVID-19 is a f***ing bioweapon. Feverish, short of breath and contagious, they will show up at rallies with no masks, they will shake the hands of strangers, they will lick the faces of babies, and they will spit in the mouths of old people. They will travel through their supporters like ethanol, cleansing and corroding as they go, until they finally reap the harvest on election day when their base is too incapacitated or too dead to vote. It also didn't help that the majority of American voters have never wanted Trump to be their president. Not even once. But it seems that America's out-of-date electoral system just took 4 years to finally reflect the controversial truth that the Orange Man is in fact bad. In what looked like the dying breaths of a failed state, these terminally decrepit furnace dodgers crossed swords in the most unimpressive, necrotic presidential race in human history. For the first time since records began, the 25th Amendment was Google searched more times than the phrase, "She touched my butthole and I liked it, does that make me gay?" The rest of the world looked on and thought, this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but with two half-formed corpses struggling to whimper in full sentences. But hope prevailed, and the lesser of two racists with highly suspicious behavior around young girls emerged victorious. His first challenge in office? The conservative copioid crisis. It's a strange drug, copium. One moment the user becomes euphoric. A transcendental feeling of empathy for all humankind washes over them like an awesome wave. And in the next moment, their body rejects that feeling in the form of explosive diarrhea from every orifice. As the postal votes were counted and the numbers moved like a slow medieval torture device, their behavior became a hideous tapestry of the 5 stages of grief. Naturally, their first response was to deny the results altogether, citing such damning evidence as vertical lines on graphs which actually made perfect sense if you, I don't know, think about it. Or that their completely random and unauthorized poll watchers were, strangely enough, not allowed to suspiciously dribble over the shoulders of vote counters. Next, there was anger. Steve Bannon was banned from social media platforms for incitement to violence, and will now spend the rest of his days in a pub toilet, giving unsolicited sex tips to spring breakers. At the top floor of the Ministry for Intergalactic High-Level Ideas, Dave Rubin is currently bargaining for a consolation prize that we at least call off the pandemic now, because that's how that works. When it came to depression, rather than cry about the result like a soy-riddled, emotionally well-adjusted person, effortless testosterone engine Donald Trump instead did the alpha male thing by making countless unverified claims on Twitter for several days. And as for acceptance, we will have to wait. In the meantime, it's more likely that Trump will continue to act as president until he is dead. He's already announced his next address to the nation, which he plans to read out silently, in his mind, from the inside of a padded cell. And though we should absolutely celebrate his defeat, we should do so with caution. The Republican Party has spent the last 4 years mobilizing a support base so cataclysmically stupid that information simply slides off their brains like mercury on stone. So fragile that the next school shooting will be over a boy losing at Rocket League to his sister's trans girlfriend, and so sexless that their bodies have become disconnected from their souls, and they are now forever impervious to pleasure or pain. And our first line of defense against these people will be busy telling folksy suburban boomer stories to a room of black children that only he can see. But progressives, liberals, and leftists, I urge you to take heart. By the time this message goes out, Joe Biden will be dead, and President Kamala Harris will have issued a decree forbidding female college students from having sex with white gamers. Just as Karl Marx intended. Most YouTubers wouldn't know how to end a video like this, but I do.